So today I want to talk about something that is probably a pretty near and dear topic to me. Let's see. And that topic is repair. Is repair. Uh, many times in relationships, people show up to put their best foot forward, and I think that people genuinely do, especially when they meet someone that they're really excited about, or they have someone in their life that is deeply meaningful to them, like children, a family member. People tend to go above and beyond to try to be everything that they would hope to be in that relationship. But the inevitability is that we fall short. The inevitability is that we make mistakes or we do something without awareness, which 90% of the time is the case. One of the things that I constantly say within my practice is that most conflict in relationships boil down to three main things: a miscommunication, a misunderstanding, or a misexpectation. Miscommunication, misunderstanding, or misexpectation. It's a miss. Rarely ever, ever is someone intentionally, egregiously trying to harm. But many times when there is a perpetual, as they say, line stepper, someone who continuously crosses boundaries, there is a dynamic where individuals tend to swing along a pendulum of either trying to be perfect and do everything the right way, or they completely abandon the idea that they should even try to. And many times that comes as a result of failing to. Usually, many times in relationships, when someone has attempted to over and over and over again to show up in the way that they have hoped to connect, to show love, care, to be received, and have failed, they swing over to the other side of the pendulum, which is really a state or a sense of giving up, feeling helpless. But it's not necessarily because someone doesn't want to connect. Many times, it is a growth point within a relationship. Maladoma Somé, who writes of Water and Spirit, uh, who also writes Ritual, has some great books around understanding and rethinking relationship and community. And one of the things that he talks about is conflict is the space in which two people have an opportunity to go deeper in relationship. That it's not a bad thing. It's an opportunity. Now, this is where repair comes in. Because when one thinks about repair, one oftentimes thinks of it in a singular manner. It is a one off, it is a thing that you do and it's done and it's good and everything is fine. But many times in relationship, that's the thing furthest from the truth. Many times that apology, that attempt at correction, figuring out how to move forward is only the beginning. It is the setting of the bone that has been broken. Doesn't necessarily mean that the bone has fully healed and it's strong again. What it means is that it's been set. And now, over time, there is the process of rehabilitation, support, consistency, rest, and restoration of that bone. But the amazing thing about it is, as time goes on, that bone actually gets stronger. It has the potentially to become stronger than even what it was before the break. But it must first be set and then supported and then rehabilitated in order to be restored. And when it's restored, it never goes back to what it was before the break. And I think this is a challenge because many times we have this idea uh, of a time and a space before conflict took place. And we see that space as better. We see that space of uh, before there was an issue, before there was a need that was recognized where maybe now I have to grow or improve as being a better space than the one that I currently find myself in. This is where we have to learn to not judge and assess, right? A lack of conflict is not evidence of peace. A lack of conflict is not evidence that everything is okay. It just means that it hasn't come to the surface or to our awareness. Sometimes it's something that the other person has been holding and dealing with for an extended amount of time. And conflict becomes a catalyst, a moment that creates an opportunity for you to go deeper, for you to acknowledge the unmet need, the harm, the misunderstanding, the misexpectation, or a miscommunication. It's an opportunity to connect your efforts to the need. Now, I know many times it might feel annoying, it might feel frustrating, but consider it this way. Imagine if your brakes are going out. Imagine if you have a leak. If you don't become aware of it, it could potentially become fatal. It could potentially lead to catastrophe if you are not aware of this thing that is taking place. If you don't acknowledge it, if you don't address it, it just continues to grow and grow and grow. I recently went to the dentist and they're like, yo, you got some work that needs to be done. And I was like, I know. I've had some bad experiences with dentists. And so I'd been really apprehensive to go. And I've watched some things progress and it's grown and it's grown and it's grown. And for a lot of us, that's how we position ourselves in some relationships. We see that there's a need, we see that there's something that's not addressed, and we become apprehensive and we don't address it. We allow it to grow, we allow it to continue to evolve, to continue to have the impact or to become worse and worse. And we can watch the relationship itself deteriorate. And it's a shame because on the other side of acknowledgement and setting the relationship back, writing it, figuring out a plan, creating the supports, and then moving forward, supporting it, right? Rehabbing it, making sure that I'm consistently doing the new things that need to be done in order to strengthen it. There's an opportunity for the relationship to grow that much stronger. But it's a process. Now, here's the thing also about a process. A process isn't meant to be something that we see as a beginning and an end. Okay, fine, fine, fine. I'll try to do these things differently. And then you reach some point where you no longer have to do it. No, no. It's actually calling you into a space where now the different things that you need to do to support this break in the relationship have to actually become a part of the relationship. They have to actually become a part of the new culture, the new way of being and moving within the relationship. This has to become a mainstay in order to maintain that support so you can actually maintain that restoration so that the bone doesn't become weak again with that stress that caused the break in the first place. And if you commit to it, you can become that much stronger. But here's the true value of that process. The true value of that process is that you go from a space in which there was a break to then that area becoming stronger. And you recognize that you can take a similar process with future breaks, not just breaks within that specific relationship, but other relationships. You recognize that that becomes a framework, a tool that you can utilize in all these other areas of your life. Relationships with children, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your peer or students, or your management boss, all these other different areas, siblings and family and right parents. You can use this tool to enable you to strengthen relationships so that the next time that there's a break, the next time that there's a harm, it doesn't feel like a death sentence. It doesn't feel like a blow. It doesn't feel like this overwhelming task. And it also doesn't feel helpless. You now have the confidence that you can move forward and continue to cultivate and develop that relationship so that it turns out even better than what it was. Breaks don't have to be an end. They can be a new beginning and an opportunity to grow that much stronger. I hope this helps you today. If you're interested in potentially a consultation to work with me, I am still open for taking clients. So feel free to go into the description box and sign up for a free consultation today. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you next time.